Hey guys, and welcome to Azul Coding. In this video I'll show you how to create and customize shapes in WPF. This is part 1, where I'll cover rectangles, circles and triangles. In part 2 I'll cover lines and outlines, as well as how to export all the shapes as an image. As always, there'll be a link to all the code in the description down below. I'll be writing this in C#, but there's a VB.NET translation available if you follow the link and scroll down. At the end of part 1 we'll have an app that looks like this, but first we need to add a reference to the project. To do this, click on Projects in Visual Studio and then Add Reference. If we search for Drawing, the one we need is System.Drawing. Then click OK. We'll also add a plugin now, so go to Tools, NuGet Package Manager, and then Manage NuGet Packages for Solution. In the Browse tab, search for Toolkit and then install the Extended WPF Toolkit package. We'll be using a color picker in this plugin later on. Make sure to add a reference in the code here for the plugin, and here for the System.Drawing reference. Let's start by setting up rectangle, circle and triangle shapes. As you can see, I've already added in the UI controls we'll be using along the right hand side of the window, but you can use whatever UI controls are appropriate for your application. Down here in the XAML code, I've got a rectangle, ellipse, which is essentially a circle or an oval, and a triangle polygon. We'll only use one shape at a time based on our user's selection. The rectangle and ellipse are fairly straightforward, as we just set the width and height, but for the triangle we need to set up a polygon with 3 sets of points. Showing the triangle on screen, the points set up for the triangle are 0, 200, which is 0 across and 200 down at the bottom left here, 100, 0 at the top, and 200, 200 over here. It's also worth mentioning this color picker from the plugin we added earlier. We essentially get the selected color property from this, and I'll leave a reference to the documentation in the description. Let's now go to the code. I've gone ahead and set up the event lists we'll be using to save time. Shape radius click will get triggered once either one of the shape radio buttons gets selected. That's the rectangle, ellipse or triangle. Width slider value change and height slider value changed will trigger when the value of the width slider or height slider changes respectively. And lastly, fill color picker selected color changed will occur when the color picker's selected color is changed. Let's start by adding in a current shape variable to keep track of the shape the user has selected. We'll make use of this variable in part 2. Then we'll add in the code for shape radius click, hiding all shapes, and then only showing the shape that the user has just selected like so. We'll also update the current shape variable while we're here. Let's try it out. So as I switch between these 3 shapes, each of them are appearing as expected. Now we'll look at resizing these shapes. Looking back at the code, we'll now update the width for the shapes as the user changes the value of the slider. What we'll do is update the width for all shapes at once, so that if the user changes the shape, the width will be updated already. We'll update the width for the rectangle and ellipse like so, multiplying the slider value by a factor of 25. So a slider value of 1 would result in a width of 25 pixels. For the triangle, it's a bit more difficult because points are involved. If you remember earlier, I mentioned that 0, 200 was the bottom left point, 100, 0 is at the top, and 200, 200 in the bottom right. We'll want to identify which points are where in the triangle, and we can do this by looking at the x value, as these are all different. The minimum value is 0 in the bottom left, and the maximum of 200 is in the bottom right. So to start, we'll set up some variables to identify the current points we have, as well as a point collection for the updated points. Then we can loop through the points in the triangle, adding the values to our list. And then making sure there are no duplicate values in there using .distinct. Now we have our set of values, we'll loop through the points once more, first checking if the x value is a maximum value, hence it's the bottom right point. If it is, we need to adjust the value of this point to correspond with the slider value, multiplying by 25 like we did earlier. If the value is a point at the top, that means it's not the minimum or the maximum, so we can do this. And then adjust the value to half the width of the triangle, as the top point is in the middle of the triangle horizontally. In our example earlier, 200 was the width, and half of that was 100 at the top. Lastly, if the point is the one at the bottom left, we can leave that unchanged, making sure to add it to our point collection nonetheless. Finally, let's update the points for the triangle shape. Before we test it, let's just copy this over to the event listener for the height slider. We'll need to make some changes, such as changing width slider to height slider, changing these X values to Y values as it's the height now, and making sure to update the Y value of each point rather than the X value. That should now work as we'd expect, so let's test it out. I'll update the height and width for this shape like so, trying it for different shapes as well. And there we are. Let's finish part 1 by allowing the user to change the fill colour. In this event handler here, we can get the selected colour from the colour picker like so, and then apply it to all shapes. That's all there is to it, so let's try that and see if it works. As I open this colour picker, you can see that we can update the colour using the colour canvas, or there's a grid of preset colours over here as well. If you're looking for an example app with a shape creator like this, and countless other features, I've created a suite of WPF desktop apps that are all open source. Check out the link in the description to find out more. Order the code to part 1 is available on my website, and be sure to head to the channel to see the rest of this tutorial in part 2. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more content still to come. Why not make a note to watch these videos as well? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.